What is a day in the life for a Big 4 audit trainee like? Find out in today's part 2 with Awela Madala, a current third-year audit trainee at PwC, soon signing off as a CASA. We also chat about thinking beyond being a student or just a trainee, the power of taking stock in your life, tips for networking as a young professional, the hidden business secrets in audit that no one talks about, how to be entrepreneurial in a big corporate, and more. Enjoy. My travelers on the road. Guys, very, very quick one before today's episode. If you've been tuning in every week, and this has been adding value, some inspiration, some motivation, some perspective, and you have not given the show a rating, please do go give the show a rating. It shows other aspiring CAs and even those who aren't aspiring CAs that this is not a waste of time, that this is adding to the journey. So please, guys, give the show a rating and review. Let's keep traveling on this road together. With that, on to part 2. Dude, okay. This is something I want to get into because I think it's changing your life.
Okay.
And I think it could change many other accounting students' lives. And the benefit, I think, of this idea that you're learning and that I'm learning from you, being my loss leader, I think it can 10x your entire life, not just as a student. So, here's the thing. You struggled with feeling like more than just a student, more than just a trainee.
Okay.
You struggled with that. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those who are going through the same thing today? They think that they're just a trainee or they're just a student. I can't get to this level. I can't do this thing. I can't make the moves that I want to push my life forward.
So if you say you're a student, you are correct. If you say that if you are a student and you think you're more than a student and you think you're destined for more, you're also correct. If you believe if you are a CA trainee and you want to stay in your lane, you are correct. If you want to be a CA trainee in your firm and you want to go above and beyond, you are also correct. That's the truth. No matter what you choose, you will be right. And I think it was Henry Ford.
Mm-hmm.
He said that whether you say I can or I can't, either way, you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's nothing wrong with staying in your lane.
There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with it. There is, in fact, this just sticking to your lane will yield you so many dividends in the coming years. If you just make the most of your time, enjoy yourself, do what truly adds to your cup, truly fills your cup, you know. I mean, I understand I play video games, but I mean, if it's to a degree where my the cups in the other aspects of my life are lacking, then I'm not truly enjoying them.
So doing things in moderation, and the moderation is different for different things.
Yes, it will always be different for different things. And I'd say don't go in, but I mean, don't beat yourself up over the spilled milk. What's already transpired. Think of who you want to be, who it is you want to be, and are you doing what it takes to be that person? You know, do you want to be the 80%? You know, do you want to be the 80%?
That's fine.
Because if you do 80% behaviors, there's 80% chance that you will end up in that situation.
Oh, there's probably higher than 80% chance.
Oh, sorry. If you act like an 80% person, then there's 100% chance you'll find yourself at the whims of that 80%. But if you are a 20% person, there's 100% chance that you will attain those 20% results.
I think a huge thing is also gratitude. Realizing more than your circumstance in isolation, but your circumstance across a wider context. I think one thing that we've learned, especially last year, when I failed third year, and I only realized that this thing is such a great opportunity towards the end, is that I did not appreciate where I was. And I'm only starting today more and more, as I'm speaking to so many aspiring chartered accountants.
Yeah.
I'm starting to appreciate this space that we are in, not just in this context among students, but on a national and even a global stage. If you can become a CA, SA, you have the makings to affect change, not just on a national scale, but even globally.
Yes.
That's the work that you're doing today. And appreciating that is, I think, the path to gratitude, and realizing that even today, as you're a student, you are on your way to becoming a value creator. But also, with the learning that I'm learning every day, I'm finding that, the more books I read, the more information I'm gaining. I, even in my student position, can do things. I, even in my student position, can give value.
Yes.
Like this equipment, this podcast equipment, I got years back.
Yeah.
And I'm only starting this podcast now because I didn't appreciate what I had.
Yeah.
I wasn't really grateful. And now I can see, okay, flip, man. I'm literally in some of the best accounting programs in the country.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by brilliant people. If we just, tap the person next to you and actually have a conversation with them. You're surrounded by brilliant people who had to get great grades. They have to have the capacity for competence.
Yeah.
Why not put this to work? And each and every one of you out there has something. You have the degree, and you have something else to give. You have interests. You have passions. You have relationships.
Yeah.
I want to talk about networking.
Okay.
Because you've got some experience in it. And I guess it's a good topic. It's a hot topic for especially budding professionals.
Okay.
What do you think?
About networking.
9-9. Honest.
I would consider myself something of a people person. I do enjoy conversations with people, though the idea of selling, that idea is what I believe to be most daunting about networking. And because when you're selling, you almost have to look at yourself in the mirror first. And you kind of need to understand what it is you have to offer. And our relationship with salesmen, we expect them to be, these like greasy, sleazy, like
yeah, I think the word sales,
rubbing their hands, and the connotation of that word sales is rubbed off onto networking as well.
I think networking also has that ick.
Yes.
It has that self-serving connotation. It's like, really, dude, you're networking? Why can't you just like be a human being? Why can't we just chat?
Yeah.
And I think that's what networking is. At the end of the day, it's truthfully
connecting.
It's connecting, and you said it. Connecting with the underlying condition that you have something of value to provide others.
Yeah.
So I'm learning. Oh, so Gary Vee, I think it was Gary Vee. He said, it was either Gary Vee or Tom Billier, these guys on social media. One of them said, a great strategy for networking is just be a decent person. Like literally just be a decent person.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good strategy.
It is.
And I say, I'm going to add this, with the underlying condition that you have something of value to offer.
Yes.
I think a huge thing about value is framing, because we think now as students, we don't have anything to offer.
Yeah.
But if we do what you said of looking in the mirror and seeing, okay, what do I offer? Which is that's the first place of networking. Seeing what can you offer of sales. As a human being, we all have something to offer, and even as human beings who have been through a portion of the course, we absolutely have something to offer.
Yeah.
How do we frame that?
How do we frame it? Well, I mean, by the time you have finished your third year, essentially you could drop out, open up your own audit firm or accounting practice, and depending on how good your networking sales is, you could provide financial accounting services, you could provide tax advice.
This is just hypothetical. Obviously, don't drop out.
No, don't drop out. Stay in school, kids.
But literally, you could do this today. That's what he's saying.
Yes. Forget probably not be accredited or anything, but you could earn a handsome amount of money just doing that. It'll take, for filing tax returns, for example, it'll take you looking up how to actually file the tax return on YouTube. But then from there, you'll have the capability to be able to charge clients for the tax filing services. I don't think I'm too familiar with the entire process of opening up the firm. So do that research.
Research, I think, it's a given with anything. I think, especially as accounting students, we can understand that. In fact, curse of knowledge. I think I'm taking it for granted that I know this. Prepare before anything.
Yeah.
Prepare before that lecture. Prepare before that meeting with a potential client. Prepare before you go for a coffee with someone.
Yeah.
Search their LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Get to know everything you can that's possible about the thing that you're about to do. But don't dwell in the realm of procrastination.
Yeah.
Prepare. Don't procrastinate. So basically so people must get that is literally what you can do today with the networks that you have. I mean, there's LinkedIn, it's huge. So if you just make sure you connect with the right people, find the right people, you could create an accounting services agency.
You could do your own accounting services agency now. There's no excuse for that. It's completely
there's no barriers.
Yeah, it's completely within the realm of possibility. There might be barriers, hard barriers in terms of giving out financial advice.
Well, that's why you get people who have those.
Yes,
expertise.
You can have those people who have. Yeah, but that's why I'm saying more research is required. But I do believe that you are in a sufficient standing to be able to start some sort of agency model business. And that will take your own sort of reservoir motivation get up and go.
Yeah, you got to be a particular breed
Yes.
to go and sell and hire and kind of get dirty. You got to be willing to get dirty.
Yeah, you
in
need
that
to be
game.
willing to get dirty, and just when people are having these big strategic meetings, it's not always the most complex thing that is the issue. Very often it is not a complex thing that is the source of pain. As an auditor, back in varsity, I used to say, obtain supporting documentation to be able to recalculate this amount. So as an auditor, obtaining that supporting documentation, I used to just write it down. And it was very simple. It was like, oh, I get a mark for this. But as an auditor, obtaining that supporting documentation, there can sometimes be a bit more that goes into it logistically. There's dealing with people's emotions.
Clients' emotions. Your teammates'
emotions. And
can you give me an example of like paint me a picture of maybe something that happened one day where you really had to like walk on a tightrope just to get some client information or any information?
Just to get some client information. It's not something so complex. It is not something so complex. It is just that I ask the client, please, can I have the payroll reconciliation? And then I get a response that says, okay, we do not prepare the payroll reconciliation. That is prepared at head office. So I need to first get approval from my boss to be able to ask them to take their calculation and then give it to me. And that will take more than the days that I would have wanted to for a due date for however long I am rolled on for.
Let's say someone else is auditing headquarters.
Yeah. And
more complexity.
Yeah, so it's not complex. But in terms of in the client context, it can be a loaded question. It can be. And it is something that I thought was very simple in varsity. I thought it was very simple, and it just turns out not to be the case.
Can you walk me through a day in the life of a trainee at PwC from your perspective? Because I got this question from a fellow aspiring accountant of like, I'm curious as what a trainee accountant goes through on the day to day.
The nature of audit, it is a lot of documentation. It is it's a lot of documentation. It is being viewed at by the client in not necessarily the most positive light. And in that, there is obviously some room for some personal, character growth, obviously, if you're into that sort of thing.
So you're saying negatively viewed by the client as in like the clients don't like the auditor?
Yeah, you
need to learn how to not be liked a little bit.
Yeah,
at some level.
To not be liked, perhaps to even schmooze your way to being liked.
Be able to charm the client.
Yeah, doing all that thing, being able to keep to retain your poise. When the fire comes upon you,
sure.
Retain your poise.
Because clients can even shout at you.
It happens. It happens. But something I'm only realizing now, my third year, I have not been grateful to this profession I've entered. I did look at it as, oh no, it's just documentation.
Oh, audit. Because I think there's also that narrative around you. Because a lot of people who do audit don't like it.
Yeah.
So there's also that narrative of negativity that surrounds you around what you can gain out of the experience.
Definitely, there is that sentiment because lots of people, they don't do their research into what is possible as far as their articles traineeship is concerned. They don't do their due diligence, and as a result, they just choose the first program that pops up in their workflow. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but people find themselves in a mismatch of personality to profession. That'll happen. But insofar as that happens, nothing is absolute. With enough creativity, anything is possible. Because audit, there is some fundamentally powerful aspects to it. One unique thing I understand is that there is, for a business, when they call in the auditors, what you'll find is the auditors will know the business better than sometimes the CFO, the FM. That'll happen.
And maybe not CFO.
No.
CFO.
The lead auditor's range of dealing with the client will be comparable with the CFO.
Sure. The partner,
even the manager. Yes, in terms of the insight, if they're involved in the audit from the beginning to the end, they will understand that business as deeply, or if not, perhaps even more deeply than even the CFO might.
I hear you, because even in the pre-engagement procedures where you're observing the entire process,
yes,
CFO might not have seen a particular division in the company for months. There's literally a chance of that.
No, nothing like that.
Nothing that deep.
Generally, I've seen CFOs understand their businesses better than CEOs.
True, because they're the numbers people, so they have to know everything.
So the CFOs have the deepest understanding in the entire businesses. It's just that the auditors often have to match it in order to conduct a thorough engagement.
And they might even go above and beyond that,
depending
which they
on
understand.
the person. So that is the power of audit.
Okay.
And it's something I'm starting to only appreciate now. And that's about it that I have to say on that.
No, that's very interesting. I think big takeaway from that is that even me, I had that view that your audit, there's not much you can do in it. There's a really low ceiling, but no, as you said, with enough creativity, anything is possible. Let's take this for an example. Although these big four firms, for an example, are these huge corporates, so they're obviously going to have a lot of bureaucracy and whatnot.
Yes.
If you just play your cards right and get to know enough, you can start up an entire business division within those things. If, let's say, for an example, PwC hasn't ventured into the blockchain space that much in South Africa. You really love blockchain. In fact, you've been at the fore. You've been studying it in your undergrad. You've been really passionate about it. Maybe you even started a little business on the side while you were in varsity or in high school. You can be one of the people that are part of the startup division once you're a CA at the blockchain division, for an example. And that's where being at a PwC really helps in understanding the structures in order to be able to create these business divisions that wouldn't have existed. So you can even be entrepreneurial within these programs.
True.
Another one example would be, like, I even think about, so I do Toastmasters.
Yeah.
Some of these corporates, I know that many of the, I think, what number? 50, I think. Man, no, 200, I think. 2 to 300 of the Fortune 500 companies have Toastmasters clubs.
Oh, wow.
Is that a mistake? 200, 2 to 300. I might be 3. I'm just misquoting the statistic. Please go fact check me. 2 to 300 of the Fortune 500 companies have Toastmasters clubs. Does PwC have a Toastmasters club?
Not that I'm aware of. I might be wrong.
That you know of. Let's say that you know of. Maybe not. In any case, the fact that you don't know means there's still a gap.
Okay.
There could be multiple PwC Toastmasters clubs. There could absolutely be. And you could be one person who starts that up to train people in their public speaking skills and their communication skills within PwC.
Perhaps.
Growing your network there. So there's always things that you can do, even within the audit firms.
Yeah.
Bro, to close us off, if you could go back. No. I even forgot to go through this thing that we have to actually go through.
Okay.
CTA. We didn't even touch it. We have to go through that. Okay.
Good, I forget. Yeah.
That's going to be the last thing, and then we're going to close off. But CTA, let's chat about it.
Yeah. So I used to pride myself on...
To be continued in part 3. See you next week.